Okay. So good morning. Today we will talk about I/O devices, input-output devices, which you use in Java. As you know, very simple. You know lots of devices through which we give an input to your program through the keyboard, through the mouse, memory, the network. You give an input to your Java program, and then you get the output on any of your output devices. It could either be the screen or the printer, or you save something into the memory or into the disk or into the network. Now what we will be learning now is how do you create all these input, create the output, how do you store them, and related things. In Java, we have a concept called stream. You have already dealt with things like data input stream, data output stream, and all that. We will be learning in detail about what do you mean by a stream. A stream is nothing but an object sequence. A stream is an object sequence which acts as a mediatory between your source and the destination. Now it is a stream through which you will be doing all the methods. Like, you have lots of input data or the source, you channelize it. You channelize it through your stream, and then you send it to the required destination. It can even happen vice versa. You get things from your output and then you put it into your input file, or you have things from your input file and then you go into your output file. So streams are nothing but a sequence of objects or a channel which supports the various methods which can be pipelined to produce the desired input-output function. Now, in Java, you have a concept called I/O stream, or input-output streams. Now, I've given here a picture through which you will be reading and writing data with the help of your Java application. Now look here, I do have a source over here. My source, it can either be a file, or it could be a socket, or it could be a console, whatever. Whatever be my input source, I have the data over here. I read the data. Now because I have bytes over here, I read it through an input stream in my Java program. And then if I am planning to write it out, it could either be into my file, or it could be into my command prompt, or it could be into another socket. I call the things which I have to put the output into destination. Now to have things into the destination, you have the output stream. So if we go once again, you have your source, which could either be a file, a console, or a socket. You get data from here, channelize it through an input stream. You have a function called read. You read it into your program, and then imagine you have to write it out into any of these output devices. You do it with the help of an output stream and a function called write. Now let's see about the various Java stream classes. There are several Java stream classes. We will see many of them. Now it is mainly categorized into two. Either if you want to read it byte-wise, or if you want to read it character-wise. So the one you see onto the left, you call it byte stream, and then you have even the character stream. Now look below, the byte stream, you can do both reading and writing. Okay, we'll talk about the byte stream first. Now byte stream, you can do both reading and you can do writing. Now to read, you will have the reading stream, and to write, you will have the writing stream. So these are the various streams which will help you in reading. Okay, you have mainly the input stream, and then in that you will have the file input, byte array input, object input, sequence input, filter input, buffered input, data input. So these are the various streams in the byte stream which help you to read. And these are the various streams which help you to output or write onto. Okay, you have the output stream mainly, and then you have the file output, byte array output, object output, piped output, filter output, buffered output, and then the data output stream. And then you have the main categorization called character stream. Character stream also, you have both the reading stream and the writing stream. If you want to read it as characters, not as bytes, you can use any of these: buffered reader, character array reader, string reader, filter reader, or input stream reader, file reader. Or if you are planning to write data, you can use the main writer stream or the buffered writer, character array writer, string writer, file writer, output stream writer, and the file writer. So these are the various input and output stream classes available in Java. Okay. Now, these are the various input stream methods available. Please have the methods. You need not write the descriptions. Okay, have the methods. You have something called available. Available is nothing but it gives you the number of bytes which are available for reading. Close is to close the input source. Once you close it, you cannot read again. In case you close it and then you try reading from that, you will get an exception. You will get an IO exception. Okay. Then you have something called mark, void mark. It marks the current pointer. It marks the current pointer. And then you even have mark supported. It will be returning a true if the corresponding input invoking stream is supported. Then you have read. You simply have read, or you can even have a read with a length. Okay, you have read with offset and number bytes. Then you have reset. If you want to reset your particular pointer to a specific mark, you have the reset. And then you have skip. Skip means a number of bytes are skipped, and then you start reading. Okay, so these are a few input stream methods which are available. Now you have the output stream methods to close. Okay, you're closing the output stream. And then you have something called flush. Flush means your buffers, the buffers which you are using till now, you clear them. You clear them, or you call it flushing. Flushing the output buffers. Okay. Then you have write. Okay. Input stream, we will be having read. Input stream, we will be having read. Output stream, we will be having write, because output means you're outputting into, which means you are writing. Okay. The same methods you will be even having in output stream. Write a particular thing, array of bytes, and then even with an offset. Okay. So these are the various methods available in output stream. Now we'll start our syllabus, how to create a file. Okay. Now we will see a few things today. Creating a new file, something called file output stream class, and a method called create file. Create file, create new file. Okay, you can have all these. Now create new file method, it will either give you true or false. True if the file is created successfully, and in case such a file already exists, it will give you a false. So please have this. We will be seeing all these: file, create new file, something called file output stream class. We will even see another class called file class. Okay, 1, 2, 3, file class. File class, and then file dot create file method. We will even have to look into things like how you will write into a file and how you will read from a file. Okay. Now we will see how to create a file in Java. Okay. So I just gave a random name over here, file create one. because we'll see two methods, as I told you earlier. We'll see two methods how to create files. I'll just save my program. File create one.java. Okay. Now we'll start how to create a file in Java. Just like you do your normal streams. When you create files also, please have it in a try catch exception. I'll go general, so I'll go exception E. I'll just finish off my exception business and then we'll go on to the code. Okay, yeah, I've finished my exception business. Println. Okay, now let's see how to create a file. First, we will see how to create a file using the file output stream. Okay, so I'll just give a object called fout is equal to new file output stream. Okay, now when you're creating files with the file output stream, you should be giving the path where you are planning to create a file. Okay, so now we are planning to creating a file in a particular location. Creating a file in a particular location. Creating a file in a particular location. So you should be giving your location over here. You should be giving the whole path, like let's say I'll go general. C, in my C colon I will create, okay, C colon test. I'm planning to create a notepad file in my, okay. So together with the file output stream, you should be giving the path and even the name and extension of the file you are planning to create. Okay, I'll give an SOP. I'll give an SOP. Control C, because then I want a display on my console. So I'll write file successfully created. File successfully created. Okay. I created a file. I just created a file. I'm not writing into anything. I'm just creating a file. And once I created a file, I'm finishing off the business. So I give fout close. I'll save my program. Okay, I've compiled my program. I'll run my program. File create one. Okay, the file has been successfully created. Now let's check my C colon. Okay, I've opened up my C colon. I do have a file created test. I do have a file created test. I'll do one thing. I'll take my program once again. You people might have a doubt, like, this might be a folder which I created earlier. Let's not have doubts. I'll create, hope you can see my notepad. I'll create a folder, a file called test123. I will compile my program once again. Java C file create one. Java file create one. I'll open up my folders. Yeah, I've got a file created over here, test123. So we'll go for the another method. Like I'll name it file create 2. Okay. Now, earlier you used file output stream. Now I'll go very simple. I'll go for a file class. File class is equal to new file. Control C, Control V. This is a simple way to create files. I'll go C colon test123 dot txt. Okay. This is another way. Everything else is the same. Control C, Control V. Okay. This is another way in which you can create files using the file class. I will not run this program because you will get an output. A file will be created. Together with this, we will learn some things more. Okay. We will create some things more. Okay. We will learn about something called create new file, a method called create new file. Okay. File dot create new file. Okay, this is a method. We will learn about create new file. Now, create new file, it is always returning a boolean, let's say a variable. Okay, it will let you know whether you have already created the file or not. Was the file created or not? Now, I'll say like if variable, but if it is true, I'll do something else. I'll do something. Now here I'll give Control C. If it is true, it means file has been created. Okay, I'll put that code over here. Else, file is already there. Is already created earlier. Catch exception E. Okay. So let's run my program. It will let you know whether you have created the file earlier or not. Let me just check my brackets. Okay. I'll save my program. File create 2.java. I'll run my program. Compile my program. I'll run my program. Java file create 2, which means a file was created. Now look here, in my C colon, I will have a file called, okay, I created now a file called test123. Now I will run my program again. Okay, I will run my program again. Now, when I run my program again, they are telling, please create a file called test123, but I already have a test123 over there. Let's see what will happen. Okay, now they're telling me file is already created earlier. Okay, let's come back to my program. Okay, now look here. Now, this will give you either true or false. Okay, now the moment you create a file, this will be true, which means if you don't have a file over there and you're creating a new file, this will be true, which means you got this output. That means at the time of creation, this will be true. Now, once you have finished creating it, the file is already present over there. False if already present. Okay, if the file was already over there, create new file will give you a boolean variable of false. Okay, so it will give you true when your file is created for the first time. If your file is already existing over there, it will be giving you a boolean value of false. Okay, we will learn a few methods. I will do on the same program. I'll just delete of this. Okay, we'll see something else. Yeah. Okay. Now, I will be going through methods which I did not list in my PPT. So please have all these methods. Now, you have a method called exist. Okay. I'll just make this F so that, I need not type too much. You have a method called exist. Now, exist tell you whether that particular file is presently over there or not. Okay, so I'll give if f exists, do some things, else do some other things, Control C, Control V. The file does not exist. Okay, which gives you the file does not exist. Okay, now let's write all our methods over here. This means the file exists. Control C, Control V. It exists. Okay, so those are the very simple things. Now let's see a few other methods. Now you do have a lot of methods with regards to file. Okay, one is f dot get parent. F dot get parent to get the parent of the file. Okay, get parent. Okay, we'll see the output of all these. Okay, you have another called Control C, Control V, Control V. Okay, you have another method called get path or get absolute path. You have both absolute path and canonical path. Absolute path, so everything is camel case. Okay, so be careful with the font. Okay, so this will get you absolute path. Absolute path. Then you have like, you know, your permissions. Can read, can write, can read. It will give you a true or false. Can you read? If you are able to read from the file, you will get can read true. If it is a read-only file, write will be false. Okay, can read, can write. Just a minute. Camel case. Can read, can write. Yeah, can write. Okay, now you can check whether the particular thing you created is a directory or not. To check whether it is a directory or not, you can write if directory. If directory. If directory will let you know whether it is a directory or not. Just like this, you can even have, like, you know, check whether it is a file or not. Okay, Silja, if to check whether it is a directory, if it is directory, to check for a file, what will it be? To check for a file, yeah, you have a method called if file. Okay, you can even Control C, Control V. You have a method. This will give you a timestamp, like, you know, last modified. Last modified. Okay, when was it last modified? You can even find the length. We'll even do that. Control C. So Silja, tell me to find out the length. What will be the function? F dot. Yeah, perfect. F dot length. F dot length. I'll save my program. File create to itself. I'll save my program. I'll give another name, test XYZ. Text XYZ. I'll save my program. I'll run my program. Okay. Java file create to. The file does not exist. Okay, I'll run it 1 second because earlier I didn't have such a file. Java C file create to. So we've got the output. Java C file create to. It exists. Such a file exists. Get the parent. Forget my spellings. Okay, get parent means, you know, the path was I directly created it in my C colon. So the parent is C colon. The absolute path of the file, I get the whole thing. Can I read? Yeah. Can I write? Yeah. Was it a directory? False. Was it a file? True. Modified, I will be getting the timestamp, which, you know, will come in a encrypted format. As of now, the length is 0 because in it is an empty file. I don't have anything in it. So that is how you look into the various methods of a file.